are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community. And I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo. We want to shout out Jean-Paul Eck. He's taking care of some personal commitments, but, welcome to 2021. And the best way to do so is by, starting with a pay-per-view. And in this case, we're going to be talking about Wrestle Kingdom 15. New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom happened today, day 1. So we're going to be talking about every single thing, all the results. Because, family, we have a brand new IWGP World Heavyweight and Intercontinental Champion in the person of Kota Ibushi. So we're really excited about this. This is only day 1 review. Tomorrow we will have day 2. So we're going to be talking about everything. A pretty good show. It was different also because it was the first show actually in Japan that whole at least 12,000 people were there. And this venue, the Tokyo Dome, it actually holds 55,000 people. The authorities from New Japan, they were able to actually show us that there was social distance. Everybody was wearing masks. Everybody was trying to enjoy the show, but at the same time being safe while doing so. So we're really excited about to talk about every single thing that happened in this show. But before we do that, thank you so very much for all the love, for the subscriptions, for the comments, that you see throughout the whole social media world that we have. So don't forget to also, for the ones that are checking us out now, throw a subscribe for us, the bell for all notifications, and follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, and also Twitter. We have all the accounts right there. All the information is right there for every single one of you, family. Also, don't forget to check us out. We held the first annual Roberg Awards 2020, just crowning the best of the best in professional wrestling, and you guys can see right there are some of the winners, but also we had more categories, so please check that video out. Jean-Paul, myself, we asked you guys, the Roberg family, to vote to tell us who do you think had the best year in 2020. So we revealed the winners, and the prestigious Roberg Award is right there. So be with us, check that video out. So also we're going to go switch a little bit of Switchblade, like Jay White. We're going to be talking about also Roberg Soccer. This is the video from 2020, the whole summary of everything that happened throughout the year, pandemic in the middle of that. 6-7 months without soccer, really difficult for every soccer fans. But we're going to talk about the UEFA Champions League in this video. We're talking about Copa Libertadores. There's more Copa Libertadores coming, in this week. And also Liverpool crowning the Premier League, winning the Premier League for the first time. And also, we talk about a little bit of South American soccer, Barcelona of Ecuador winning the league, the Liga Pro. So, be with us for that. It's a great video. That's part 1. Part 2 will be coming up soon. So, family, let's talk about Wrestle Kingdom per se. The matches were really good, and also it started with a really nice video package featuring every single thing that is going to happen in day 1. We had every single match, with music. It was really great. I really enjoyed how the show started. So the first match, family, that we're going to be talking about, the match that opened the show, and every single good wrestling show is the one that they opened up with a really hot match, really great contest. And this is Iro Takahashi going against El Fantasma. This guy is from Canada, really good wrestler. It's the first time I actually can see him wrestle, and actually I'm pretty surprised and really glad that I can get to see a new wrestler, because he did a pretty great show. Also, Hiromu, we saw him last year in Wrestle Kingdom. We had coverage of that show also. He's here in the channel with Jean-Paul Eck. He fought Will Ospreay last year, so we saw that we knew also that he was going to put a really fantastic show. And this match was also whoever win from this match, whoever get the pin, he will go and challenge the IWGP Junior Champion, and that is Taiji Ishimori. So, this match, I like the fact that, these matches, the winners had implications from the next day. You saw that, there's all a storyline. The 2 days are, is understandable, and it's combined, that the fact that, whatever you do on day 1, then you have your presence on day 2. Let's say you lose, then you're done for the, for the next night. So that was really interesting. I like the match, like I said, at the beginning of the bout. Hiromu, got the upper hand, he was dominating for the most part of the match. He's a pretty good wrestler. I like his style. He's really hard hitting. The only thing that I will say, maybe the spot that it was overdone, it was the super kick by both El Fantasma and Iro Takahashi also. And there was I like the ability of El Fantasma, just being able to walk on the ropes. He did a really nice tornado DDT. He was able to do also a moonsault. He did a sunset power bomb into Romo. It was a really great stuff. And then he was trying to do his finisher, and his finisher is the CR2, and this finisher is a double hammerlock underhook, and then is a back to belly slam. is actually like we'll say Matt Riddle does, like the Bro Derek, pretty similar, but then he hooks like both of the arms and then he slams like the opponent into the mat. He tried for that. He tried that for like 3 times. I think he connected 1 time, but then Hiromu was able to kick out. And then in the last pieces of the match, then he was going for that, but then Hiromu counter, and then he did just a combination pin. He was able to like just turn it around, and then Hiromu wins the match. Like I said, a really nice bout. But then Hiromu got injured. Like some people, like Kevin Kelly, you guys will remember him from like the days of WWE. He said that like he might have a broken hand. So like he was like, as guys can see in the picture, like there was like a bag of ice, around the hand, because like they were saying that he was about to like, it was either the hand was broken or like he was injured from the hand. So we'll see what kind of implications and ramifications like this injury has on Iro Takahashi when he goes and he challenges Taiji Ishimori for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. So we'll see, if that might be playing a factor. We'll see what happens on that. But like I said, pretty nice bout between the two. Like really long match, around 20 minutes. And that's the one thing that has always been a constant when it comes to New Japan Pro Wrestling. So it's pretty interesting, to see what happens with El Fantasma later on. But like we know that at least Hiromu will be able to challenge tomorrow for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. So we'll see what happens on that. It's a pretty interesting bout. And I really like how like the match started, like I said. And, this set up the pace for what it was going to be, the rest of the night. So now we're going to move on into, the Tag Team Championship, the IWGP Tag Team Championship bout. And this is the champions, Taishi. And this is one of the best, even the best technical wrestlers in the world, if not the best per se. Zack Sabre Jr., they're the Tag Team Champions. And they were going to be challenged by Tama Tonga, Tangaloa. And, these guys are like from the Bullet Club. And you guys know them as Guerrillas of Destiny, or G.O.D. G.O.D., the Guerrillas of Destiny, or like G.O.D., Tama Tonga, Tangaloa. They're like the Bullet Club, pretty popular wrestlers. Like they got in feuds with like Enzo and stuff like that, for Twitter. Like they wanted them to go out to New Japan. So like there's Samoans right there, and also like the ones that continue at least carry on the Bullet Club. And this match was also like pretty good, but it's also worth noting that Tama Tonga and Tangaloa were the winners of the World Tag League Championship. And it's like, they were able to get an opportunity for the titles, winning like that tournament. So they did that, and that's why they challenged the tag champs. And like I said, it was a pretty good bout. They started out really hot, and you see that like Zack Sabre Jr. has a bright future in professional wrestling. I don't know if he's ever going to make the jump to WWE, AEW, Impact, because the guy is just the whole package. Maybe I haven't seen his promo work, but when it comes to the ring, he's absolutely flawless. He tells you the story in the ring, and I really like that. You see this great picture also of like a Regions of Destiny, with his manager. So you see like that they were having like a lot of like pump for this match. The hype was really great. And like I said at the beginning, Zack Sabre Jr. and Taishi got the upper hand. They were dominating. I have this picture right here for you guys. This is a beautiful like double submission. Zack Sabre Jr. had like the guillotine, something that Roman Reigns is using in WWE. He has like the dragon's leap right there. So he has it on like also on Tama Tonga. So you see like it was a pretty great bout. Like the upper hand then will switch up for like, the Guerrillas of Destiny. And then you see like this is another great spot. It was like a superplex into a power bomb also by Zack Sabre Jr. and Taishi. So like you saw like there were a lot of pinfalls. It was a pretty interesting match. A lot of times you saw like you thought that like Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. were going to retain, and you saw like that the match completely changed skirts when Tama Tonga pulled out the iron glove. That's a signature move that he has, and then he beat Taichi with it, and that allowed like Tangaloa to like just lift him up, hit a pile driver, beautiful spot. The ref was distracted by this point. Zack Sabre Jr. was taken out of the match, and like I said, Tangaloa hit like a pile driver, and then he gets the 1-2-3 count. And family, we have brand new IWGP Tag Team Champions in Guerrillas of Destiny. Is their 7th reign. They're kind of trying to be like the New Day, like kind of like got multiple ranks, but at least these champions are more believable. They're intense. They're legit. Like they actually understand wrestling. They're not like throwing pancakes or anything like that. But like you see this great picture right here holding the championships. They actually exited through the crowd. So that was something that even in commentary they were saying that they should have never done that because, like being contagious or like COVID stuff. They said they don't care. They just want to that was part of the storyline though. I don't think that they did that on purpose or to get any kind of backstage heat. That the only thing that they did is just to carry on the storyline. You saw like Taishi was really taken off of the match. He had to be escorted by Zack Sabre Jr. They asked a little bit of help from somebody else from the back. But like I said, family, Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, Guerrillas of Destiny are the brand new tag team champions, and that's pretty good. We'll see what happens with Taishi and Zack Sabre Jr. if they still attack, or we'll see what Zack Sabre Jr. can become. Try to go for like the United States Championship or the Intercontinental Championship, or he goes like as a single run for now. Now, family, let's go to the third bout of Wrestle Kingdom 15, and this one was for like the IWGP US Heavyweight right to challenge contract. So pretty much New Japan also developed like a Money in the Bank contract, but in the Money in the Bank, you can challenge for any championship at any time. In this situation, this is just designed for the IWGP United States Championship, the one that is held by Jon Moxley. Unfortunately, Jon Moxley was going to be part of Wrestle Kingdom, but this wasn't possible because of still, concerns about the pandemic, being contagious. They didn't want to risk it, so like they were able to come up with this storyline, and they developed this briefcase that Kenta, guys know him from the days of WWE as Hideo Itami. He didn't have a really great run in what it was WWE per se, maybe at the beginning of NXT. Then a lot of injuries sidelined him for a long time, and he wasn't able to showcase his abilities. But here it comes back to New Japan, where he became popular, his home. So he's actually having a pretty decent run. He actually attacked Tetsuya Naito last Wrestle Kingdom. So he's reforming himself. He's like having a new identity, heel. People love him like that. So I think it's a pretty good run that he's having. So he was defending his opportunity to go against Jon Moxley, against Satoshi Kojima. He's a veteran, 30 years in the business, great wrestler also, but he's in the twilight of his career. He's about to not retire, but he's taking like father time, like they said in the commentary. He's starting to take care of the toll on him, but it was a pretty good bout. I really liked it, and like I said, he actually was able to challenge that because Juice Robinson got injured in like a tournament that they have to determine the number one contender. So that's why he was taken out of like this match, and then he gets there with like Kenta, and actually they gave us, like I said, a pretty good bout. Kenta dominated throughout the most stretch of the match. Then Kojima tried to make a comeback, a few clotheslines. His signature moves is actually when he takes off like the padding in the elbow, and he was about to hit him with that, with like Kenta, but Kenta blocked. And then Kenta, of course, he came back with like a really nice comeback that developed into like the Go to Sleep. Even his shirt says the Go to Sleep Club. So I like that. And that's the move that he created. It wasn't CM Punk. It was actually Kenta who made that move popular. And then CM Punk replicated in Ring of Honor. And then he went off his days of WWE. So that's what happened. And then Kenta hit that to Kojima. 1, 2, 3. He is able to retain his right to face Jon Moxley for the IWGP US Championship. And actually talking about Jon Moxley, we were able to see him not in Japan, but like in the way of a video package. He came out and he says like the Boogeyman is back in New Japan. You guys thought that like I was done. You guys thought that I wasn't defending this championship. No, I'm back, and I don't care who gets who faces me. Just know that I'm coming for you. That's what he said. Jon Moxley, pretty intense, even a lot more intense than like the way that he will talk on like AEW. So you saw Jon Moxley going from like, let's say a 7 that he's on AEW to maybe like a 10 or even like 11. But great promo by Jon Moxley, and also like you guys see that like at some point he was going to be able to go and defend that championship in Japan, maybe in like a month. When like the situations, like the ramifications of what happened in the pandemic are even more controlled. So that we'll see what happens on that. But like I said, Kenta wins, and then he's going to have to face Jon Moxley for the IWGP United States Championship. As you guys can see in this picture, after this match, there was like a break, like maybe 10-15 minute break, and what they did is like to disinfect, to clean the ring, like just make sure that like the matches that happened after that, they were going to be safe for everybody also. So that's pretty cool that like the personnel from New Japan were able to do this. Like they had that in mind. So it's pretty good, and that's something that sets the pace for any other promotion in the US, in the UK, that they can do that. They just take a break, disinfect the ring, clean every single thing, and then just like go back to the action. So that was good. So now let's gonna go back to the next bout that we had, and that's the special single match. This is like the ace. This is for Jean-Paul Ek. So Paul, I hope you're listening to me. Hiroshi Tanahashi going against the Great Okan. This was a pretty good match. The only thing, it was parts of the match, they were a little sloppy. There were like some spots that like maybe because Tanahashi's age or maybe the Great Okan, they were not mixing, they were not gelling really well. So like there were little spots that like I was like, okay, that didn't come out good, and then we'll just keep going. It was like you could see that like kind of messed up a little bit. But like this match just came about because Hiroshi Tanahashi has gone into like a streak of like a lot of losses. They said that like in commentary that he hasn't won since October of 2020. So he needed a win, and Wrestle Kingdom is the place that like he became popular. He made the Wrestle Kingdom also really important for what it is the WrestleMania version of Japan. So like the Great Okan put on a decent match, like I said, a good fight. But in the end, the match was like just all about the ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Like I said to you guys, Like they hit like a nice driver onto Tanahashi. Doesn't mean the Great Okan. Good showing by him, but then Tanahashi pretty much isolated him with like super kicks, also with like drop kicks, also like with clotheslines, and then like the end, like the finish spots on the match, it was just he hit him with like 2 frog splashes, one on the front and then one on the back, and then he covered him, pin him, 1, 2, 3. Then Hiroshi Tanahashi gets the win, and like you see in this picture, like he's just hugging everybody in the world because New Japan is not only seen in Japan, it's actually seen in every single part of the world. That like fans that love professional wrestling like me. This match was over. There were like also like announcements like that New Japan Pro Wrestling is really close to have a deal in the United States to have a TV, to have a network to broadcast their shows. So they said that they're really close to having a United States deal, so they can go back and have like their programming in the United States, because the last time it's worth to note that it was Access TV. Access TV had the rights to like broadcast New Japan. It was all on Saturday and Friday and Saturday at 10 p.m. There you go. I give you all pieces of information as much as I can remember. So after that, it was like a year and a half ago, around that actually Access TV didn't resign and they went for Impact. So they picked up Impact, and I gotta say that like because of that move, Access TV and Impact both benefit from that, because more people have been able to be exposed to Impact, and that's why they have to drop the programming when it comes to New Japan. But they say that they're really close on to return in a form of a network programming when it comes to the United States. That was pretty cool. So then let's go, family, to like a really nice video package of what was going to be like the main, I would say, like when it comes to technical ability, when it comes to like athleticism, when it comes to like execution, it was going to be like the best match of the night. And that was Kazuchika Okada going against, Will Ospreay. They had a really nice video package when it comes to like the rivalry. Supposedly they were brothers. They were like always together. They were never going to betray on each other. But then Will Ospreay decides to like turn heel on Kazuchika Okada just because like he wants to build an empire. He wants to go after the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, Intercontinental Championship, and he knows that the first step he knows that like the stand that he needs to do, he needs to like make a move that like calls for everybody's attention. He needs to do something. He needs to call for an statement, and that is going to go against the man that like put New Japan on the map with a Kenny Omega for like years, and that's Kazuchika Okada. This guy has never been beaten by Will Ospreay until a few months ago, and that was a really controversial win with the help of the referee, and that's how Will Ospreay got one win over Kazuchika Okada. So that's the thing that like made this match happen. So we wanted to see who was the better man out of the two. Like I said, a really nice video package from both. Okada showcasing, saying that this match will be worthy of a Wrestle Kingdom, and then you see Ospreay saying that he's gonna like beat Okada and he's gonna build his empire. Also, like the nice thing to notice is like the New Japan has like been able to collaborate with Stardom a little bit, because we saw Will Ospreay coming out with like his girlfriend, and that's Bea Priestley. You guys know him from AEW. Like she wasn't able to be there featured constantly because of her commitments with Stardom and now with the New Japan. So we saw them right there. You guys can see it in the pictures. To me, like just by seeing in these pictures, they become one of like the most important and influential couples in professional wrestling. So that was pretty cool. She came out with like her championship that is from Stardom, so that's good. Also, like Will Ospreay, he's like a UK champion, so that's why he was wearing that title belt, and that was really cool. And I like that the introduction, and then the match itself, it was just a classic. I really love the intensity of this both men. Kazuchika Okada is always able to give us a 5-star match, and put somebody like Will Ospreay that is also like another high caliber wrestler that always gives you a great showing, always knows to just give you like a show that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. And this was what they did. You guys can see in this picture like a really nice power bomb done by like Will Ospreay. Like he caught Okada. He was going on air for like a drop kick, and then Will Ospreay actually catches him. He slams into the mat really hard, really good for a near pole. Then actually Will Ospreay like was applying, like he applied the Rainmaker. So that's I really love that. I really love in professional wrestling when you actually go for like the person, like the rival's finisher, and you try to humiliate him by doing that. So that was really cool spot also. Then Okada is like debuting like a submission hold. Okada is not using like also like he has a new finisher move, and that's like the Rainmaker, but it's also like a Cobra Clutch. It's like a submission hold. It's called like the Rain Clutch. And then he was trying to do that on Will Ospreay. Like he put it on for like a good 5 minutes. But then Will Ospreay, as you guys can see in the picture, like he was able to put his foot on the rope. So that's why he had to like release the hold. But that was extremely great. So like a lot of people are not liking that this submission hold. But I think that like is expanded Kazuchika Okada's like moveset. So that's always good to have more elements in your arsenal, just more tools to like you can use in depending of the match, depending of the circumstance on the match. So that's what you can do to make your rival either submit. You can pin him. So I will never be upset. I will never be discouraged if a wrestler just goes for like the submission way of doing things. So I like that, and like I said, Ospreay was able to come out of that. He actually got to see also Will Ospreay hitting all his offense. We got to see the Oz cutter, the springboard cutter that he does, extremely great move. Kazuchika Okada, of course, he kicked out of that. He tries for the Stormbreaker and does the double underhook Canadian backbreaker rack, transition into a modified corkscrew. That's another really beautiful move. He tried for that. Kazuchika Okada, he countered that for a few times. Then I think he hit it, but then, of course, Okada was never going to die. Okada is like the Roman Reigns of New Japan Pro Wrestling. And then he went for a Spanish fly. An absolutely beautiful move. And the one thing, the beautiful about New Japan Pro Wrestling is how they always execute the moves. It was a beautiful move, like I said, flawlessly from both men. That was absolutely amazing. Then Kazuchika Okada, besides using, like I said, the rain clutch, he went for the tombstone. He hit that twice. And for his finisher, the ones that we know, the ones that pretty much put everybody away, and that's Rainmaker. And he hit that in 1, 2, 3, and Kazuchika Okada gets his win over Will Ospreay. What a wonderful match. I think Dave Meltzer, we know that he loves New Japan, so he probably will give him a 4.5, if not a 5-star match. The one thing, Bea Priestley also got taken out on the match. So, they use everything. And the one thing also to mention is there was no blood. Everything was it was just a match. It was just, professional wrestling, not color, which is okay. Not every match deserves to have blood, but you just saw two guys showcasing their skills, and we saw who's the better man. And in this case, it's Kazuchika Okada. We'll see what happens with him. We'll see if he goes for the title, because we never know. I don't know if Kazuchika Okada at some point is gonna debut. Impact, AEW, maybe at some point. He's friends with Cody, with Kenny Omega. We would love to see that. In America. We would love to see that American audiences that are not really familiar with New Japan to see this. So we'll see what happens. Also, Will Ospreay has a really good run on New Japan. We'll see if he actually gets the championship. I think that maybe next year it will be the time for Will Ospreay to actually challenge for the IWGP World Heavyweight or Intercontinental. We'll see what happens if there's still those two titles combined, or if they're separate. But regardless, great showing for both men. So now we're going to go to the promo. Of these two guys, it was going to be the main event for day one, and that was going to be Tetsuya Naito, defending his IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental W Championship, and this is going to be against Kota Ibushi. This was a really great, video package from both of them, saying it took me a year to get where I am. I finally won the big one, and I've been defending it with all the honor, with all the courage in the world. He's not going to take this from me. Kota Ibushi is one of the best wrestlers in the world, if not the best, Tetsuya Naito mentions, but this is not his night. At least in night one, he's not going to do it. Kota Ibushi saying the same thing, but in reverse, meaning this is my night, I'm going to beat him. It has to happen. He became the challenger because it's Sanada to win the G1 climax. That's why he get to challenge, and that's why he get to be in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom. And they gave us a really great match. These two guys, especially Kota Ibushi. Kota Ibushi is, one of the best in abilities, and, we saw them in the Cruiserweight Classic, also in the WWE. We've seen them in matches, in Wrestle Kingdoms, in the G1 specials that they give us here in New Japan. Tetsuya Naito, sometimes he has good matches, sometimes he has not so great of a match, but he always comes out with the Tranquilo, remember in Cien Almas and the Gobernables of Japan or Mexico, where that was really created faction. They gave us a pretty great show. When it comes to hard hitting moves, we got to see a lot of counters. He went for the Destino for 3 times. He connected out of the 3. He connected 2 times. Kota Ibushi went with his finisher, the Kumakai, and that's a knee strike, very similar to what it is the B trigger, but Kenny Omega just bounces on the ropes and then he gets more power and then he strikes. But Kota Ibushi is just he grabs the hands and then he pulls them towards you and then he hits that. So that's what he did. We got to see also a little bit of a dead eye that he did at some point. Kota Ibushi countering one of the Destinos from Tetsuya Naito. We got to see that. It was a really amazing. And then, like I said, he hit the Kumakai 4 times. The 3 times before then, Tetsuya Naito kicked out. You saw the face of Kota Ibushi. He couldn't believe it. He was so surprised. He's it's my night. It's supposed to happen. No, it's not going to happen yet. But in the end, he counters one of the Destinos, turns it into the Kumakai. Like I said, boom, 1, 2, 3. He gets the win. And he becomes the brand new IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Double Champion. He was really excited. You saw the crowd was really loving this. Tetsuya Naito, it seemed at the beginning he was gonna just attack him or just not gonna show respect or sportsmanship. No, he did it. He held both belts for Kota Ibushi, and he held his hand later on. So you saw like there was a lot of respect from both men, and that's the one thing I love about New Japan. Like I said before, each year they feature a different guy. We saw the first year like it was Kazuchika Okada, then we saw Tanahashi, then we saw Tetsuya Naito, and now is the time for Kota Ibushi. It shows that New Japan, they actually respect and celebrate their success of every single one of the guys, and they know who to trust and what point of the year to trust these guys. It was Kota Ibushi's time. It was really great. And later on, when as Kota Ibushi is actually celebrating, we got to see Switchblade. We got to see Jay White, and he cut a promo. He said, it's cool that you won. I'm really excited for you, but you're gonna make my job a lot easier because night 2 tomorrow, I'm gonna beat you for those titles. You're gonna be just the one-day champion. So enjoy your title reign, because it's not going to be long, because at the end of the day of night 2, when Wrestle Kingdom is all said and done, it's all over, then I'm going to be the double champion. So Kota Ibushi was just nodding his head. He's like, yeah, sure, dude. It's not going to happen. So you see that the rivalry is still there, and that's why they get to see this picture. So it's going to be a really great main event. Switchblade, Jay White, he's been the champion. So we'll see what happens if Kota Ibushi. I don't think he's going to lose the championship. I don't think if he's going to be a transitional champion just one day. I don't think that New Japan will just do that to a guy like this caliber, this skillful. So I think that Jesus is going to retain, but at least it's a good feud that we're going to see. So family, this pretty much closes day 1 for what it was Wrestle Kingdom. I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I did. We'll be back for day 2 also to talk about everything. We have more matches, also more rivalries, and in the end, like I said, the big match of the night is going to be Kota Ibushi, the brand new double champion, defending against Switchblade Jay White. So thank you so very much, family. Don't forget to subscribe. Like I said, hit the bell for notifications. Follow us on Facebook on Road Break, the OG Road Break on Twitter, and the original Road Break on when it's Instagram. We put everything, the best content in professional wrestling and soccer. So family, I'll come back with you guys. For tomorrow, we have Monday Night Raw. It's going to be Celebrity or like Legends Day. It's going to be Legends Day. It's going to be Hulk Hogan. We're going to see Carlito. We're going to see Mickey James, Ric Flair, The Big Show. So many names, WWE always tries to start the year, with this kind of Legends thing, so people actually get ratings, so people start watching. But it always happens. Then the next week, the ratings go down because nobody's watching anymore. So family, just don't forget to watch us, though, because we always give you the best. So there's one more thing that I have to say to every single one of you, and that's thank you, and I'll see you soon. Ada.